Okay. Any questions so far? I usually start off lectures that are about an hour long by asking who has some type of pain here. So just raise your hand and throw out some type of pain. If you're in pain and have some sort of thing going on. Anybody?
There's a hand there. Anybody?
Over here?
Okay. Yes.
Fibromyalgia. Okay, it's a generalized pain, but it can be localized. Anything local, specific? Neck pain. Okay, where in your neck? It's hard to see it. Okay, between your shoulder blades and down near your spine or further out? Okay. The other half of that is when I ask about internal diseases. And I don't want to make you say anything that's going on internally, but we can take fibromyalgia as an example, as a generalized disease. And then in my general lectures, I kind of split acupuncture or Chinese medicine into two things, acupuncture and Chinese herbal medicine. So I'm going to start off talking about acupuncture because most people are more familiar with that. Everybody's familiar with a lot of the herbs used in Chinese herbal medicine, like ginseng and ginger and licorice and different things like that. But that is a lot more complicated. So I'll try to touch on both sides. In acupuncture, we look at the flow of qi, and qi is basically just energy. It takes energy to hold everything together or to make things run. So we're all basically energetic bodies. And the Chinese look at the body as sort of a flow of energy. When you walk into a room, there's the feng shui of the room, or the energy of the flow of how you feel when you're in a room. Or when you look at a certain person, you can tell this person has good energy or bad energy, or they're happy or they're sad and all that. So the Chinese look at the flow in the body along certain meridians. And the acupuncture points that are used are along those meridians. And basically, I'm going to borrow your arm here. If you go to an acupuncturist, you should call them up and say, how many meridians go to the left hand? And if they don't automatically say 6 meridians go to the left hand, hang up, because that's second day acupuncture. So 3 meridians on the inside, 3 meridians on the outside. Front, let's see, you're going to do this. So it's back, middle, and front. And when I ask about you can put your arm down. When I ask about where your pain is, it's going to be, for me, it's going to be a little bit a different placing of the needles along certain pathways according to where your pain is. So if you have pain that's right on the neck, I might choose one meridian pathway. So it's a little bit like, some people put needles where the pain is. A little bit like screwing in a light bulb right there in the socket. But you can also use a switch, like going to the wall and turning on the switch. So I rarely put needles where the pain is. If I'm treating your neck, I'll probably use your hands and feet. So, but where I put them in your hands and feet depends on which meridian it is. And that, in a nutshell, is simply how you use acupuncture from my perspective. I've trained with this guy that she mentions, Taiwanese master. He spent 30 years going back reading ancient Chinese texts to figure out exactly what they mean by acupuncture, because in the communist China era, things changed a little bit in the modernization. So I kind of use this old system. But in essence, what it tries to do is get more energy to flow or less energy to flow. Stagnation, pain, blood stagnation, qi stagnation, all those kind of things, is you're trying to get some more flow go through there in the qi, or build qi, or turn it down. So it's kind of using these little on-off switches. One of the questions somebody's bound to ask here is, how does it work? So I'm going to just go ahead and say, nobody knows. Right? If you read modern pharmaceutical literature, one of the common phrases in pharmaceutical literature is the mechanism of action is unknown. They know it works, they don't know how. Even though they know the theory of how it works, they don't know how. But you can stick a needle in somebody and watch on a CAT scan where it lights up in the brain. So they know it works. There was recently a study just put out in the reported involved 18,000 patients in 6 years of study, research on all these other studies on the effectiveness of acupuncture. And the results of that study was, it works. Now, I threw that up on Facebook and said they took 6 years and 18,000 patients to see what my patients find in 3 visits. Right? So I expect people to get a change almost immediately. My teacher expects to get a change at least 50% in the first visit. And how it stays depends on the health of the patient and what they do. I had a patient treated for sciatica. He was limping when he came in. He says, "Can I go running later tonight?" I said, "Yeah, I love to take your money. Please go running." But no, I said, "No, I wouldn't recommend it." He came back the next time and said, "I felt so good, I went running." I said, "That's fine. I'll take your money, but you might want to stay off of it for a little while." So. My whole goal is really to get everybody up and going and doing something on their own and to get their chi flowing, right? So if we're switching over on the amount of chi and how it's stagnated, then you kind of start going into the theories of Chinese medicine. And the basis of all Chinese medicine is yin and yang, or yin and yang as we say here in Arkansas, right? So everybody knows the little symbol that has the kind of the two fish-looking things with the dots and all that kind of thing. That's the yin and yang symbol. It basically comes down to, is your disease, is your problem, is your pain, is it too much or too little? You can have back pain from an acute injury, which is generally too much, or it can be from a deficiency, from old age, from just wearing yourself down. So do you add to it or do you subtract from it? Is it too much or too little? Is it hot or cold? Is it come from the outside, like colds, flus, bacteria, viruses, or does it come from the inside, from the way you eat, from your stress, from different things? And then yin and yang are really substances in Chinese medicine that are a little bit ethereal, but it's a little bit like using your car. The yin part of yin and yang are the fluids and the gas and the motor oil and all the fluids, lubrications that keep your car running. And the yang is the heat and energy that comes out of that. So our yin and our nourishment comes from breathing and eating. And I'm sure we're going to talk about eating at some point tonight, right? And what comes out of breathing and eating, which creates your chi, is the movement and energy in your body, the heat, the function of your body. So when you get to Chinese herbs, now you're looking at different things of supporting those functions. Is it too much, too little? So you can have a headache that's excess. You can be a type A person, have a lot of energy, or you can have a headache that's deficient. And if you're using herbs, you're going to change the herbs according to what that patient presents as. Even though this patient might have a headache right here on the temple, and the next patient might have the same type of headache, might be two different problems. Going back to acupuncture, it's where it is on the head. Is it in the front, the back, the side, that kind of thing. So that sort of in a nutshell. It would probably take several hours just to go through the whole concept of yin and yang, to really get you to understand how they relate to each other, because they're really not separate from each other. They're two sides of one thing. If you say, I have a coin, then you have a coin. But if you say, I'm looking at the head of a coin, you have to have a tail, right? So once you start splitting things up, then everything is opposite but interrelated. So that's probably confused a lot of people. I'd be happy to do a demonstration of acupuncture. It's a little bit more exciting than talking about yin and yang, but I think that's kind of it in a nutshell.